Best bit for a Thursday. It's amazing what you... In fact, you said it, what you learn about Vanessa Feltz.
Well, I love... Whenever we do a phone in with Vanessa, I love it anyway, but she's particularly good when it comes to matters of the heart. Particularly even better when it comes to keeping the spice alive and adding something, purely because we get a little insight into her own love life.
This time it included pie.
Nina says, my partner and I have been together for 6 years. In the first 2 years, we were inseparable and so very much in love. But now I feel like we have lost the spark. I don't think that either of us try hard enough, but I don't want to lose him. What advice?
Well, you have to rekindle. I mean, you have to do all the things that made you feel all those lovely feelings at the beginning. So what were they? The sorts of things that you immediately stop doing as soon as you settle into a relationship. You know, do you walk hand in hand at midnight round the block, you know, talking about how much you love each other? Of course you don't. You're happily sitting on the sofa. You don't want to get up and go outside and make the effort. So it's all the sorts of things that you did in the first, it's usually 12 weeks of intense falling in love until you start thinking, hang on, I don't like the way you chew. And what are those terrible shoes? And do I really like your mother? No, I can't stand her. Normally for the first 12 weeks, you don't think any of those things. So you want to get back to the first 12 weeks.
Is it possible to get back to that, though? Like, is that realistic?
Okay, in my relationship, once, I mean, I always want to redo this, but once we went for this walk, just a long sort of hand-holding walk, in a London park. It cost nothing. I think we walked from the house to the park. We walked around the park. We were holding this pie, like a cherry pie, and I was feeding him a little bit of pie, and he was feeding me a little bit of pie, and we were looking at the herons, the ducks. It cost, whatever the pie cost, I don't know, £5.50 and nothing. And it was romantic. And it was the sort of thing you don't necessarily do when you live together, do you? Why do you need to do that?
So just do something surprising
that you would have done at the beginning, like take a boat out on a lake or something in a park. Something that, you know, lovers do and partners don't often do.
Yeah.
And the other thing
Feed him pie.
Feed him pie. And the other thing I think to absolutely rev up, I don't know if people will agree with me, maybe it's just me, but rev up the kissing part. You know, the kissing part, exactly, the snogging that very often goes by the wayside when you're having full-on sex. You don't bother with the snogging so much. But the snogging can be, especially for girls, and also boys, actually, particularly if you do it right and nicely, a really enchanting part. So I think just rev up the snogging.
Put the pie down first, though.
And you know the bit where, no, not necessarily. Not necessarily, no.
Conventional.
Wrong. Do not put the pie down. Incorporate the pie or any other foodstuff of your choice or drink of your choice. But also the bit where, you know, the kissing goes along the inside of the arm all the way to the elbow, or the bit where it's behind the ear, or the neck, or the bits that you might forget after a few months.
Don't forget those bits.
Remind yourself of those bits.
Thank you.
Should we bail out now? Before we get
I could carry on if you want me to. I can go further if you like. Why not?
I feel like we just know a little bit more about Vanessa every time we do a phone in like this, don't we?
Absolutely. We haven't had the pie stories before, that's for sure.